Welcome everybody to the show. It's Brandon again here at FanimeCon 99, and my guest today for the show is FanimeCon 99 guest of honor, Hiroyuki Yamaga. Okay. Now, Mr. Yamaga, you are one of the heads of Gainax, one of Japan's most popular animation studios. Could you tell us how Gainax was formed?
簡単に言うとですね、僕らはその頃はまだ大学生で、そのSF サイエンスフィクションの SF のいわゆるファンのグループだったんですね。そのグループがのその人たちがみんな大学
At the time, we were students in university, and actually we were part of a science fiction group in the university. And of course, when we graduated from university, we would have had to go out and find work. If we'd started working at a normal corporation or a company, it seems like it wouldn't have been so interesting. We would have had to do the normal sorts of things. So therefore, we thought that if we created a company, maybe we could, if we created a company, that maybe we could make films, not necessarily animation, but then we would be able to make a living and we'd be able to do something that was fun and entertaining.
Now, your first directorial debut, The Wings of Oneamis, has been very well received among anime fans as well as film auteurs. What previous experience did you have going into this film? Have you taken any film classes or were you part of any video clubs?
僕自身クラブに入ったことはありません。僕が行ってた大学は大阪芸術大学といって、音楽。
No, I was never involved in a club or anything in university, but the college that I attended, or the university I attended, was called the Osaka Geijutsu Daigaku, or the Osaka Art University. And it taught not only art, but music, composition, sculpture, design, and visuals, and so forth. And among the things I studied there was film.
It has also been said that Wings of Oneamis has a very mature approach towards anime and that it was a little bit ahead of its time. Do you believe that the film suffered as a result, or that it actually helped the anime industry in being a stepping stone for later, more mature works, such as Ghost in the Shell or even Neon Genesis Evangelion?
まずそのオネアミスの翼が作られた頃の日本のアニメ業界というのはですね。
Well, I can say that when Wings of Oneamis was first created, almost all the animation in Japan at the time was based on comic book stories in comic books that were turned into animation. Oneamis, in the sense that it was created without, it was an original work, not based on a comic book. It was one of the first films of this sort in Japan, and I think it had a very large influence on the industry in this regard. So until that time, or at least at that time, it was very difficult to convey to people what the finished product would look like, because it wasn't based on other work, and it was very difficult to convey to several hundred people who were involved in the production what they should create and what they should aim for. There was no know-how in Japan to do this sort of thing. So we learned how to do this through the process of trial and error, and this method that we developed, you could say, has become quite normal in Japan.
その作り方というのはその後の日本のアニメ業界。
And as far as its success is concerned, financial success is concerned, we started out when we made Wings with relatively few expectations. We wanted to do something. We wanted to create something that was interesting for us, and hopefully to be able to eat while we were doing so. And I think in that context, what we did was actually a success.
On to other subjects. The character of Kubo in Otaku no Video was loosely based on yourself. About how much of that character is you?
ほとんどよくあれですよね。いろんなところにいろんな作品で書かれるあるその作者を多分モデルにしたであろう作品というものはたくさんありますけれど、みんな同じようにあれなんですよね。微妙にその一緒だけれども微妙にずれている。必ずしも本当のことを描いていたんでは作品にならないので。
Well, often in works like this, several people are modeled, and often they're loosely modeled. They're not always. It's not always based on reality. there's parts that are real and there's parts that are fiction. There are people who are real and people who are not. And that's what makes fiction interesting in general. As far as otaku, video is concerned, I wrote it, and of course there are some parts where I depicted things that I thought about or experienced, but not necessarily really happened. So you could say on one sense that it's all fiction. You could say on another sense that it was all like that.
What are you working on at the moment, Yamaga-sensei?
今僕は小説を書いています。その小説というのはですね、そうですね、この地球とは少し違った地球、オネアミスの翼の時もそうでしたけれども、ただああいったちょっと
I'm currently writing a novel, and it's about Earth, but it's a little bit different than this Earth that we live on right now. It's not a retro Earth like Wings of Oneamis. It's an Earth where it's slightly in the future with slightly more advanced technology, and there are knights that inhabit this planet or Earth, and there are fights between these knights, but they don't ride on horses, they're fighter pilots. I'm creating 7 short stories first, which will be compiled into one book and published as a book, as a novel. And then the 8th short story I hope to turn into animation.
その後に、8本目のストーリーをアニメ映画にしようと思っています。
And for anybody who wants to get into film and animation in the future, what advice do you have for the next Gainax?
まず先ほど話したことに関係すると思いますけれども、まずは僕らはもちろんアニメで会社を大きくしたし。
This relates a little bit to what I said before. We have made animation, and our company has been quite successful as a result. But in the future, we'll continue making animation, but we might not limit ourselves to animation. It's been mainly a means of expression for us, and anime has been the best means of expression for us up until now. Now, if people are in another country, different country, in order to create the next Gainax or something equivalent to it, it may not necessarily need to be anime. It could be music, it could be architecture. The most important thing is to have something that you want to express and then to find the best means to express that with.
That about does it for our interview today. Once again, Yamaga-sensei, I'd like to thank you very much for taking this interview. And that's it from here at FanimeCon 99. Back to you guys in the studio.